Good morning, it's Brian here. It is Expert Dojo. You are on the Art of Startup War. And as every investor knows who's listening to this podcast, the idea is this. I and we at Expert Dojo are investors. That is all we do. We look and seek out the most awesome companies in the world. We put investments into those companies. We look to put subsequent investments into those companies in the future. And the idea is that we help and support the companies become the greatest that they can be, potentially unicorns. I have the pleasure this morning of talking to a great friend of mine, a company that we invested in, a company that I feel has got tremendous potential going forward. And I want to go through the story with you. So over this 30 minutes, like existing investors, potential investors, we're not telling you that you should invest or not invest. We're just merely telling you why we invested so you can get a bunch of diligence under your belt and just get a really good first-hand view from a fellow investor as to a lot of the questions that you would like to ask yourself. Okay, so that's the plan. So Vipul, we ready for it?
Yes, always.
Lovely. Okay, so we go back a little while, yourself and myself. We've had a fantastic journey. I remember when we first met, and I was so incredibly impressed because you came out of the gates with such aggression on growth and everything in your mind. And by the way, this was so refreshing for me because most folks who are early stage founders, and of course, creativity is a huge part of it, and product fit is a huge part of it. But most people spend too long in that area, and the growth becomes the victim of the creativity. In your case, I think what was supremely relevant for me and very relevant going to be for other investors is you're just pure focus on aggression because you went right at the market, drove growth, had revenue front of mind. So I want to kick straight into aggression, but can you firstly talk a little bit about Mugafi, talk a little bit about the origins, talk a bit about how you came up with this idea in the first place, and then I want to kick into growth and how you managed to grow this company so quickly. And then as we move on, we'll go into the future of where it's going to go to.
Sure. First of all, Brian, again, it's always lovely talking to you, and thank you so much for having me here. Amazing opportunity. I think we are doing it twice, second time, and so thanks for this. I'll start with what we are doing, and possibly then take you through why we are doing, and then how we see the world growing, and how we are gonna impact it. But we are it's very fantasized because obviously what you're doing is a fantasy, like it's an AI-enabled MCU or a Marvels. So what our goal is that as the world is moving towards a lot of AI tools, AI driven things, we have built a whole program where we allow creators to use the mentorship, the tools, and create characters and stories which are so powerful that can be heard over Spotify to Netflix to Amazon and even to the box office. So that's a very basic idea of how we started. The only gap is what we feel that by tonight, when you go back home after doing all the work, you open these OTTs and you will try to find some content to watch for yourself. But it's very hard because the production is not as fast as it's supposed to be. We are so used to TV, so used to new content every day, and all of a sudden we are now in the OTT world where we have to wait for content for months, sometimes for quarters. So we want to optimize it. If OTT really have to replace TV, if the world really have to produce great content, the content supply need to be sorted. And that's what we are doing. We have made a program where we take up batches of writers, batches of musicians, give them all the tools, all the mentorship that required, and help them create an IP, help them create a movie story, help them create an audio story, help them create a music, song, and eventually license these IPs to the world's top production houses, world's top distribution companies. We have worked with a platform like a Spotify, Discovery, and a lot of great production houses in India. So that's overview of what Mugafi is, and a lot of it covers in the name. Mugafi comes from the mix of music, games, and films. The IPs, the areas that we're going to cover as in our journey to produce these kind of IPs here.
Fantastic. So really, you become, in the end, a publishing house. And you are even an IP holding company for all these individuals that are looking to create content for the future. And it's such an interesting place, because this is very much like back in the times in the McDonald's movie, when there was that famous line of, we're not in the business of restaurants, we're in the business of land. Right. We want to own the land that the restaurants go on top of, because that's where we win. And so in your case, you're not in the business of music. You're not in the business of films. You're not in the business of content. You're in the business of land. You want the IP for all of this content creation that's going to happen in the future, because that IP becomes tremendously valuable. Correct?
Yes. Yep. That's the whole idea. I think you summed it great. How we define the product for people to understand, it's a AI-enabled Marvels. So Marvel's creation took almost 50 years, but now because you have a lot of tools available, you have internet available, the same thing can be done in 2 years to 5 years. What we want to become, a simple vision for the next 3 years, we want to become the world's largest library for IPs across characters, music, movies. And that's the whole idea. Like for the next 3-year plan, that's what we laid out.
That's so fantastic. One thing that's better than being the greatest actor in a movie is having all of the actors in all of the movies.
Yeah.
It takes the gambling out of it, right? Because suddenly you own all of the content. So I think it's very easy for investors to understand this vision, to see this vision, and actually to appreciate the fact that it's very hard to go wrong as long as you're providing quality that brings the quality people to wanting you to have a piece of their IP. So talk to us a little bit about how you developed the program to be such a high level that you immediately started to get some of the greatest and most famous, not just actors, but writers and other great content creators in India immediately wanting to work with you.
So we are right now focused in 2 categories highly. One is a music, the other is a writing. In music, I'll talk. Let's say you are a singer, right? So how you have to do, you have to upload your voice to be the part of my program. And the moment you upload a song, I match that song with existing song. And my tool have figured out that what your matching rate are. Is your pitch is matching? Is it tone is matching? And by those matching algorithms, we figured out that are you able to match that song even by 75%? If you are, then you are in my fellowship. If you are not, then we send you to learn. So we have a learning module where we push you. We say that go do practice and then come back. Similarly, in writing, every script that you write, every book that you write, script writing have a certain formatting that need to be done. How you design your characters, how you place your characters. So we ask you to upload your past work. We check for all the plagiarism. We check for the kind of formatting that you have done, and if you have been right on those areas, then we let you come in our writer's room or we push you to learn again. So that's how we do filtering. So our first set of filtering is so great that nothing can go wrong when you are in the writing, when you're in the writing room or music studio. And how we define it in the last 3 quarters itself, we have created 1,400 songs on the platform. We are right now doing almost 100 stories a month. In a batch of 50, if we take, 80% of those people end up on creating a great IP, which are sellable, licensable to the market. So I think a lot of filtering goes. There are 2 set of process. One is that whom we are bringing on. For example, you have a certain filtering, right? You cannot take any other company coming to your platform. You choose the founders and then you work with the founders, right? So that's how the filtration we have for the creators we're going to work with. And then the program and the tooling that we have built, it just maximize their output. It gives them the feedback right then and there. For example, if I'm a writer, I'm writing a plot. I get the scoring of my plot, that my plot is 5 out of 10 among all the great plots in the world. So I know that I have to rework on my plot. Then I have a mentors who guide me through, who tells me that this change can improve it, this change can improve it. And then, so by end of the cohort, when you have your script ready, the quality is, I would say, 10x better than what you find otherwise. And that's why 40% of these creators in last 3 quarters have came back on our platform to do these writers room again. So if someone have created a script, have sold it off, they came back again. So for example, I built a company, that company done well. Now I moved out, I started another company, but I know that Expert Dozo have had such an immense value that I'll come back to Expert Dozo, because it's not just for learning, but to pushing me up. So that's how these people look at us. They come back again and again, and that's how we've been able to deliver a very high value as we are growing.
And I think what's probably helped a lot as well is that you have some very famous people who are aligned with you, some of the greatest writers in the world, not just in India, and also some
Yeah.
phenomenal people in other sectors as well. So I'm sure that's also helped. One thing is having a mentor, other thing is having highly qualified experts and mentors who have written some of the most
Yeah.
famous books in the world.
Yes. No, true. I think they not just help us in showcasing the world that Mugafi is a great platform to work with, to not just build that brand value, but also their step-by-step mentorship, the thing that they have built or they have done for us helps our creator to create a great IP. And apart from that, not just this, the creator, not just these creators, but also the top production houses in India have backed us. They have put in a larger check in our company. We got backed by one of the great music label in India. So all those
Nice.
people have came on board because they are seeing the kind of content we are promoting, the kind of content we are creating. Uh, a very similar comparison, I would say. There is a company in India which does almost 1,000 songs a year. Their team size is 900 people in the company. We have done 1,400 songs in last 3 quarters, and our team size is 3 people. So that's a difference. Like that's what tech gonna do to this world, and that's what I'm showcasing the world. That content creation now is have to be led by tech, have to be led by internet. It's not an operational business anymore, and that's what we are here to solve for the world.
Absolutely fantastic. And so how did you do it? Let's go back to my first question, which is on the growth. How did you manage to drive the revenue in this company so quickly? How did you manage to build the content so quickly? Talk to us a little bit about the journey of actually getting you to here, because it's truly incredible. Like even those numbers you just mentioned there, the 1,400 pieces of IP versus 9,000 with only 3 people. Truly incredible. So again, we'll get to the future in a second, but take us through the growth.
Yeah, so uh, there are two levers. One lever is the program that you have designed, which will help people to make sure that these people create IP. I have done the first batch. There's almost been 1.5 years now when we started the first batch. I still remember we had a batch of 20 people. In the first class, only 2 people appeared. And we were like, oh shit, what's happening? But one thing that we have done is that we have been extremely focused. We know that this is the market, people need it, and we have to work it. We went and back to the studios. We learned from them that what kind of learning is required. What kind of training is required for a musician, for a writer. We came back, we integrated those. We talked to the creators. What are they missing? Where are they lacking? And I have just written a mail day before yesterday to you, Brian. In that mail, the first line was, "We have seen first time ever in this space that my last batch have 100% attendance. All of the people have came in. There's no single person who missed it. It took us 1.5 years to do so, but that defines that we have literally kept on learning that what our program look like. And a program is mix of multiple mentors. I believe it's like when you read in a school or a college, for every topic you have a different teacher because the teacher have expertise in topic. In a very similar way, when you are writing at Mugafi, for every different piece you are writing, you have a different teacher. You have a different mentor who gonna give a feedback. So for someone to write a horror genre, I have a mentor who have given the great hits in horror in India or across. For someone to write a thriller, I have a people who have given a great thriller which have made more than $50 million in India in a box office. So those people are coming and guiding you through. So quality anyways goes up because of that. And the first layer is filtering. And I think filtering is what we as a startup founder sometimes take very negative. We say, when you have a potential of 1,000 people, why are you taking only 100? Because those 100 are creating a FOMO for rest of 900. So my retention goes up, everything else goes up in the business. Like, you don't have to be a business of 1 million user a month. You can be a business of 1,000 people. So the rest of the million have a FOMO and always trying to come to your platform. So I think that's the difference that we have made sure from day one. We were never be a company who focus on number of people who are coming in, but what we are delivering to the people who are coming in. And that defines a lot of things. I think that's where we have largely find the growth, find people. For example, if you look at in the last 3 months, the total money that we have spent on marketing, you won't believe it how much it was. It's less than $10,000.
Right.
That's a marketing budget. And 40% people come through referral. 10% of every program batch is filled with the people who are repeating. The rest are coming through our partnership for doing talent shows, for doing different sort of activities on a school, college level. We are also big in partnerships. We are partnered with the government, state governments in India. We are right now just signed a MOU with the central government across. So we have integrated courses on storytelling and character designing in class 10th and 12th, secondary and senior secondary education. So you're tapping students now from that level. So that sort of thing that what we are promoting across. Because if you really have to make a talent, and I say this to everyone, like in this world of AI, everything else gonna become like just irrelevant. If you are not creative, you doesn't matter in this world, right? You have to be creative. You have to give the ideas. You have to be the one who can run this thing. You can run the AI because everything else they can do. They can design for you. They can code for you, but you have to tell what to code. And that creativity is the core. And I think what we do, it not just brings a lot of character to us, but it also enlighten the importance of creativity to all the people who come on our platform. So that's how we have been growing. And in the last 1 year, if you look at from the last March revenue to this March revenue, we have grown 3x, 3.5x from there.
And that's the path to a unicorn. And before we talk about this path to become a unicorn, I want to just underline something you've said here, which I think is terribly important. I'm not a big private members club type of person myself, being of Irish descent. It's not really a thing for Irish people, but I do admire the way some private clubs manage to create this FOMO and these big lines. And one of my favorites to watch is Soho Club. The Soho Club is almost impossible to get into. Like you have to have 2 recommendations to get in. You have to be on a waiting list for years. There's no way you're walking into Soho Club just because you have money. No way. Actually, it might even work against you. So it's but there's lots of clubs, right? Lots of clubs in the world, but most of those clubs are empty. But Soho Club can charge $200-300 a month, and it has queues out the door, lines out the door, and people always wanting to get in. So I really like where you're going with this quality factor. Your quality, the quality of what you are keeping as IP, is going to be the gold standard for the partners that you want to bring in. So can you talk a little bit about how you've worked that partnership between the brands that are looking for the IP and the IP that you're bringing in, and how you've managed to keep that standard at that Soho Club level so that they're prepared to not only pay you, but keep on coming back and paying you more and more and more to get access to the IP, which, by the way, also benefits the very artists that you're bringing in on the program as well?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And everything else, if you look at, comes back on what you are creating, the quality of it. Because when you focus on quality so much, it causes a networking effect. Let's say you are a production house, you come to me and you get an IP from my platform and you showcase it, produce it, launch it. People get to know that, from where this IP came from. And they see, oh shit, it's Mugafi who's creating it. And the IP is so amazing that you come back to us. And you won't believe, in our business team, there's just one person apart from me.
Wow.
Because a lot of studios that are coming, they're coming inbound. We're not reaching them out. And they just haven't came as a buyer, but they were so impressed with the work that we are doing that a lot of those have came as an investor too. So they came and they told us that we want to invest also in this thing. We don't want to miss the boat. How should we do it? And they came on the same term as an investor does, any other VC does. There's nothing that we have given extra to them. There's no rights that they have. They just want to be the part of it. And that's what happened. Like, otherwise, when you go to such influential people, they say, I want an equity, I want a discount, or, I want a promoting fees or whatsoever. But because they see the value, they say, no, I want to be in the bus. Like, tell me the way to come in. And that's what we have seen working with us. So I think it's all a networking effect, what we're trying to create. And that same happened with Soho. We all have been so like wow about it that we say, how can I get in? And that how can I get in drives everything for them, and that's where you want to keep a tag that, I'm from Soho, I'm a part of Soho, come and meet me in Soho. And so more people will get to know, shit, what Soho is. I want to go there. How should I go there? And that's a loop. So you have to kick in these loops once, and it works for your lifetime, I think.
Wonderful. And who are these brands that are buying this IP? Is it the Nikes of this world, the Coca-Colas of this world? Is it movies that are looking to put specific songs maybe into the movies? Like, give people a flavor as to what the whole economy looks like. Artist comes in, records content, content sits in Mugafi. Mugafi then approaches or is approached by all of these brands. Who are these people and what are they looking for? And what kind of, I mean, without breaking, you don't need to talk about specific brand to a specific price, but maybe give us a feel as to what the pricing economy looks like for them.
Yeah. So two things. We have built a platform right now where anyone can go and explore these IPs that we have created. It's called mugafi.com/sync. And there are 200 songs in English also, so you can always make sense out of it. But the thing is, there are two types of people who are coming in. One, who are a consumer itself, creator itself. These are the people who are creating videos on YouTube, who are creating videos on Instagram or TikTok. They need a background music. For example, let's say if you're recording this podcast, and you have to input some tune behind it. Like when I'm saying, hi, I want to put a drum or something like that. A lot of people do that. Like on YouTube, you find a podcast with the background music, you find the YouTube videos with background music. Those people come on our platform and buy the content, license the content. And the licensing fee starts as low as $100 a month. But that's a repeat revenue that you keep getting on a monthly basis from these consumers till the time they use it. The second is on the brand side. On a brand or B2B side, there are three sort of specific people that we work with. We do not go directly to the brand yet because most of the bigger brands give their work to the ad agencies. So we tied up with the ad agencies, the world's top ad agencies, and we say them, you have to create 1,000 advertisement in this year. All those advertisement need a background music. This is a larger library. You take it from here at a much lower cost and a much faster way to get it. Because right now, what happens is that I'll give someone a brief, he takes a time, creates something in a month. Then I say, oh shit, I didn't like it, change it. So that's a very long process. So we cut down that process completely. And a lot of Indian folks or Southeast Asian folks rely a lot on the Western sounds. So because there are epidemic sound out there, the audio machine out there. So they rely on them to take songs which have to work in Southeast Asian market. But because of us coming in now, not just the Western people can use the Indian music, but also all these Indian folks or the Southeast Asian folks can easily use the Indian music for their BGM. The second set of people are the music labels who say, I like this IP so much that I want to buy it out completely and probably launch it with a new singer on my platform. And the third are the studios who say, well, we are creating a movie, we are producing a OTT show, we are producing an audio show. And for that, we want a BGM, which is the background music, we want a cinematics, or we want a whole song for my movie, with lyrical. So these three type of business comes to me for a music side of it. A similar business comes to me for a writing side of it. So, and the business is so integrated. If I sell 50 OTT shows to you, you want another 150 songs for that. And that songs also comes from my platform. So my ATV goes up automatically. In India, particularly, when I look at my music ATV, the ATV comes almost around $2,500 if I'm selling it to Indian clients. When I have international clients, mostly in Singapore, Middle East, or US, UK, from there we are seeing a ATV of almost $22,000. So that's our ATV on the music side looks like. In the writing particularly, we are right now working with the regional OTTs and the audio largely, where the OTTs, where the ATV is around $2,000. The moment I'll go to OTTs, the bigger OTTs and box office, my ATV goes up to almost $100,000 per IP licensing fees. So that's how the wide range of IP licensing fees looks like. But the one of the most important part in the whole thing that we don't do a lot in projections, but there is a big part of royalties that comes. So we receive anywhere between 3 to 20% royalties. So if anything does well in the market from distribution point of view, 3 to 20% of that money comes to us, depending on what type of IP it is.
That is a beautiful thing. And then, so talk to us a little bit about like other folks that have been doing this in the marketplace? Because I'm sure there were other people who have been trying to go after IP. You mentioned the one company that have 9,000 pieces of IP. So how do you dominate Vpool? Like for those folks that are listening and are saying, this is a great business, fantastic entrepreneur, really smart, breaking through. Wow, got to 1,400 pieces of IP already. Obviously have a machine that's building, but how does this company become a $3-5 million a month revenue company?
So very simple thing. Right now, there are two levers which kicks in the revenue in our company. The first lever is the creators who comes in and they pay for a fellowship revenue. That is right now 20% of the whole revenue that we make it. And that's a network effect cycle because the moment I launch few IPs out there, more and more people want to join in. So it's about my capabilities, that how many fellowships I can scale, how many people I can build in. And in the next 1 year, we can easily grow this 30 lakh, 30 to 40, sorry, 30% of revenue to 4x from now. So we are right now at around $200,000, $250,000. The idea is to hit and scale it to $1 million in next 18 months. Out of 250, the 50,000 that comes is easily scalable to 4x from now because there are more and more entries are coming, which we just have to allow coming in and pay us that money to learn on our platform. And that cycle will keep going on because the moment you see that there's my friend who have launched a song through Mugafi, you want to come in and you can pay any amount to come in. So our ATV in last 3 months have increased. So we were at ATV of $80. Last month, our ATV on the fellowship was $200. And we believe it that we can easily scale this ATV to $500 from now. At the same time, scaling the number of people who are joining in from here to almost 4x. So that's one set of revenue. Second, in IP licensing fees, we haven't touched anything. We haven't even touched the 1% of market yet. We are just dealing with 3 platforms who are giving us this much of revenue. And there are more than 300 OTTs in India itself, plus production houses, plus music label, and they all want content. So as and when our supply is going up, the demand is out there already. But my bigger goal over here, not just to increase the revenue, that's one side of it. And I think I've shared this in the email also with you, Brian, that we are looking to achieve profitability in next 3 to 4 months. We are already at cut down our burn from the last 3 months, all because of the increase in revenue. And on the pace we are growing, we should be achieving the profitability by the month of July. But apart from that, our 50% of bandwidth is going into developing IPs which we are not licensing at all. These are, which I started about, these are the AI-led MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we are building characters from small towns and keeping them with us. So we want to build a 10,000 library of characters and then show it to the world. So the rest, my 50% bandwidth goes there into creating those 10,000 characters. And there's 50% to make sure that the money keeps coming in and the revenue keeps growing in. And we should do all those in a very good, a business manner, which makes sense.
Absolutely incredible. So look, Expert Dojo invested in you because all of these questions I'm asking you, I know what the potential is. I know where your North Star is, and help people share. And I think my confidence in you from the very beginning was very much based on me knowing your abilities, which also incorporated your background. Can you talk a little bit about the team's background? Start with yourself, and let's talk a little bit about the skills, the execution that you've done prior to this, so folks can realize the relevance of what you're doing right now.
I think the one important thing that I'm a both coder and a writer. So I sit so I was talking to this someone about this, that I was in Bombay a couple of days back. I was sitting with the production houses, talking to them that how we should create more IPs, what business needs to be done, what the next 100 episodes should look like. And next day I was in Bangalore sitting with the VCs talking about how we're going to build the product, how we're going to get more creators on the platform. So I think the one biggest strength which I see in myself is that I sit in the center. I understand both of the world. So I don't look media as an operational problem, and I don't just do tech without knowing what the problem is. Apart from that, I'm an INSEAD alumni, have done 3 companies in the past, 2 VC backed, 1 bootstrapped. self-made man, started my career from a call center, and then keep learning, growing. My uh, study have been in mathematics and statistics. I've done business from INSEAD. I've learned coding on my own. Algorithm is something which I love because obviously I come from a stats background, and I'm pushing this world of what we call a creator economy or this M&D sector from 2015-16. That's my last company was also in the similar space. We were trying to make people create commentators and writers, which got scaled to 10 million users and then eventually got acquired. That's me for you. And then I have a CTO with me, Anurag. Anurag is again a young guy, but coding since at the age of 14, 15. Someone who starts coding in school itself. And I have started his first job with a payment gateway, one of the largest payment gateway in India. Have done his last startup in creator economy, which got acquired by one of the largest social media app in India. And we have been together from last 5-6 years now. Apart from that, on a senior leadership team, we have the guy who is running my music team. The guy is ex co-founder. He have run his own music label, which got acquired by one of the production house in India. And then since then, he is with us. The guy who is running my writing have given 2 major hit shows in India, and have worked on one of the largest upcoming movie. So he's with us. The girl who runs partnership comes from the creator background, have been in this space industry from last 7-8 years, but again a young fellow. So it's a mix of both. What I want, the median age should be around 27, 28. So these people understand the world is getting disrupted with tech, and at the same time they have enough 5-6 years experience in knowing what the business is. So that's how my leadership team looks like. People at this average age. And then it's a mix of the young folks who get the right guidance and do anything for you. So, and then on the product side, I have a person who have been in product sector from last 10 odd years, have worked and scaled many startups in the past, but now luckily with us, helping us grow and build the product. And what you see today on Mugafi is should not have been possible without him. So yeah, like the leadership team have been built nicely. Yeah, that's mostly about me and the team.
Incredible. And then, okay, before I get to the last question, which is going to be about your epic insight, your Horizon 3, your North Star, what you believe is possible that nobody else has been able to say, let's share with people just your contact details, first of all. So how can people contact you?
Email ID best. LinkedIn, I'm mostly active. I'm more active on LinkedIn than WhatsApp itself. And email ID is vipul@mugafi.com. It's as simple.
Vipul@mugafi.com. Right, perfect. And then obviously anybody can always contact me, Brian@expertdojo.com.
It's
if you want to be
Mugafi. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, good. And then let's finish us in the last minute or so. Your epic insight, your North Star, 10 years in the future, you're talking about what the company became. What are you saying?
It looks fantasy. We want to disrupt Disney, build Disney from India for the world. So I think if you're going to see the next Marvels, next DC, you're going to see it from Mugafi. You're going to see the most optimized way, you can cut down the journey of 100 years of Disney in 10 years, sum it up. That's what Mugafi is going to be. That's I think that sums up a lot.
I love it.
What we're going to be.
The Disney of India, absolutely beautiful, and done in 10 years instead of 100 years. Phenomenal. Vipul, it has been...
It's a Disney from India for the world. So, like, we're going to build it from here for the world. Like, I believe India is going to the world's storytelling capital. We want to sit it. 10 years down the line, Brian, if you're going to see a great movie in theaters, I'm going to make sure that few out of 10 going to be from Mugafi studio.
Incredible.
And few out of them going to be our IPs, yeah.
I absolutely love it. Listen, it has been a pleasure investing in you. It's been a pleasure with you on the journey. You're an absolute legend. I love what you're building. All other investors, anybody who ever wants to do diligence and have a call with me and ask me about Vipul, you'll get it straight from me. Brian at Expert Dojo, you've got Vipul's details. Vipul, let's build ourselves a unicorn.